You guys ready for another day in Williamsburg?
Yeah!
We haven't even left the resort yet, but what are you excited for today?
Arcade! Mini golf! Arcade! Mini
And
golf!
be excited about
Mini golf!
historic buildings downtown. Colonial Williamsburg. But first we have to do the arcade up here.
Mini golf! Arcade! Mini golf! Arcade! Mini golf! Mini golf! Arcade! Mini golf! Arcade! Mini golf!
Hey, you guys getting him? Get him, Nolan, get him! What'd you get, Millie? First place! And Nolan's got the grand prize. You even got the wind blowing on your face, huh? How many flags are there? 14? What's the 14th one? What's the 14th flag? The American, the middle one? All right, so we are at the Governor's Palace, and this is gorgeous, right?
It is
Very
amazing.
spendy, high rent area.
I mean, look at that motif thing. These gardens, and we've already lost the kids in the maze. Oh.
History grows into each other.
Wow. How does it do that? It's much cooler in this green area too. It must have been like their own air conditioning
All this
back
covered.
then. Keep them cooler. I feel like royalty walking down the lane from my palace
on seashells.
on seashells. These are all seashells.
Face thing, I'd like to know where you are.
This is seashells. This is the maze. All right, can we see the kids? Oops. We know.
Go! We've already done it! Mommy's here! Come on, let's do the maze!
How do we do this?
Just go through! Go, Mom, go! I'm gonna speed run it!
I think I'm going around in circles. Wait, where are you guys?
Well,
Oh, good. There you are. Yeah, yeah. Show me where to go.
okay, come on, let's go. Almost there.
What's it? We're lost. Where are you?
No, I know where it's going.
This way? This way? Go that way. Gently. Let's go. Just follow. This is a dead end. You tricked me.
What? No, I know where it is.
Okay, what's in?
I memorized it.
Really? Wait, don't leave me behind.
No, I'm trying to.
He's helping me.
Okay, let's run it backwards.
Is this the middle?
No, you must answer this riddle. Who's the 16th president?
Ooh. Abraham Lincoln.
Yes.
Yes.
Come here. Wait, Wesley, we have to speed run it backwards.
So I made it to this ultimate dead end. Is that the
It's also a good place
prize?
to roll your ankle. Mommy, come here. Can I show you what the wheel is? Ready? And the prize is you get to go through the whole thing again.
what?
Or, okay, Mommy, this is the biggest decision we've ever had. Which way?
I think I'm ready to go out.
Okay, then
This
go
way.
Hey, that was quite a maze.
Where
I
it
wore
was
myself out.
it was amazing.
It was amazing.
Hey, do you know who George Wythe is? He was the one who mentored and taught Thomas Jefferson for years and years and years. So it's because Thomas Jefferson was so intelligent, it was kind of because of him.
George Wythe was a lawyer, a politician, and probably what most people know him best for is being a teacher of law. And Thomas Jefferson is one of his students. We know that Jefferson will spend about 3 years studying law inside of Mr. Wythe's home. We also know that George Washington is a friend of Mr. Wythe's, and on his way to Yorktown, he will stop here to Williamsburg, and Yorktown's where the last major battle of the war is fought in Cromwell surrenders. But they say that Washington will stay here with his officers for about 2 weeks in September of 1781. Some say that maybe the battle plans and strategies for that last battle were talked about inside the house. So think about that as you go through. When you folks go inside, keep in mind that most of the inside is just as original as the outside. They'll walk on the original floorboards. All of the doors to the house are original, the shutters to the windows, some of the glass in the window seats, even the banister to the staircase are all original. I always encourage my groups to hold on to the banister as you go above and below, because remember, you're touching it, Mr. Wythe has touched it, Thomas Jefferson's touched it, George Washington, and who knows how many other important people have touched that banister going up and down those stairs.
So this is the original land, space, house where George Wythe helped to mentor Thomas Jefferson. It's amazing. Let's go inside.
Out of season clothes, it gets cleaned, and yeah, that's where you taught Jefferson to read law. Right in there.
In the office.
In this very room. Is this a room they sat in? Are those original books? So cool. I can't believe I'm here. I want to like touch everything. I'm all about touching original stuff. Original windows. Mrs. Wythe's bedroom.
That's for that
And those lemons and limes are original.
I think so.
This is their dining room.
Wow.
Peanuts here at one point.
Map. We have a map like that.
So
why the crystals?
He loves science. He's always, yeah, he likes his stuff. You know, he's always observing.
This looks like an entertaining room.
Conversations. This is really good for you.
Weston, can we have some conversation?
No. I don't know how to.
You don't know how to start a conversation?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, back then it would be something like, "Hello, Miss Sheila Fisher. How do you do? Please take my hand and kiss it. Kiss it. Ew! Wait, did you touch the banister that George Washington touched? I'm gonna touch it. Original things.
Washington and 100,000 tourists have all touched this.
Oh, then I shouldn't do my trademark kiss original things.
Would you like this bed?
One head curtains around.
Or I know why, but would you? It's just like all the same color.
The closets had shelves in them. Lady Bird would be so impressed. How do they go to the bathroom, Millie?
Bowl inside the.
And then somebody has to
Oh, there's no flesher. That would be the job for a little girl.
They would keep the lid button down.
Insect life, animal life, plant life. There's a copy of the Declaration of Independence, and you can find his signature right at the top where all the other Virginia ciders are.
John Hancock.
Oh yeah, that's not.
This is a copy?
Can we use this?
There he is. George Wythe.
I know you will handle it very gently.
With George Wythe.
First of all, Thomas Jefferson called George Wythe his second father, and Thomas Jefferson said, any accolades affixed to my name are thanks to my relationship with George Wythe. Boy.
I really enjoyed George Wythe's house. It's so cool to actually be in the room where it happened.
Hi.
Hi.
Chocolate.
Right there.
Chocolate. I need chocolate.
It's original chocolate. It's 200 years old.
And you have the perfect hair for it. So what you would do is you put a bun up here, and you wear a little cap like this, and the cap is pinned to your hair, and then this goes around that little bump back there. And even when it's windy like this, you kind of have to keep your hand up there to keep your hat on. Most people pin them to the hat again, but I don't have any pins. I just walk around like this all day.
When people walk by, they throw their garbage at you. Tomatoes, tomato peels,
Whatever you could catch in your mouth is what you
and you had to stay there all day. Didn't have anything to eat.
Oh no.
This, you put your leg irons in.
Can't even sit up on the bar. You're so small. Poor child in the stocks.
So when you broke the law, that's what you had to do.
Oh, we're sitting so.
Instead of jail, they put you out here and get your feet out first. That's the symbol of the king. That's the royal.
Not all the new children.
Look, we've got authentic horse poop. It's original.
Not original. It's not an original. Oh, it is an original. Please go open drink something and
go in.
People left their doors unlocked back then.
Yes, come in. Come in, come in. Buy what you need.
Pretty cool. Oh, there's a step.
This is flint and this is steel.
Declaration of Independence on old paper.
Bill of Rights.
Smells like it tastes. Whoa. Is that heavy?
It's kind of like the cannonball, though. You can get a giant paint opener. Yeah, it's like as close to an original chocolate recipe as they can get.
Ooh, let's see how good it is.
It's
Bitter?
dark chocolate with a hint of cinnamon and orange.
It's okay. It looks so dark.
It is a dark chocolate.
Is there anything in there you can't have?
No, I can have it all.
You have it, buddy?
99 cents.
99 cents.
Yeah.
They're pretty good.
Yeah. Ready for the blacksmith?
I left some of the
Yeah, that's a cooking spoon. So you can use it to taste what you're cooking, or you can use it to stir what you're cooking. I used one the other day to cook some chicken. It was really good at flipping the chicken over in the pan, so it's got a nice shape to it. Even though we don't really see many round bowled spoons for cooking today, from our research, they seem to be more common than oval bowled spoons. Most of our work is going to be used here in the museum. So I've been working on axes for the brick makers, so they can split firewood, they fire their brick kiln with, and then those bricks are going to go into buildings. But in this case, my colleague here is making forks, and he hasn't really made forks like this before. So rather than just make one, he can make one and it'll be okay, but it doesn't teach him very much. He's an apprentice, as am I. We're both learning. So in order to teach someone how to do something really well, you've got to do it over and over again. It's called practice.
It fits perfect.
It's really hard to produce this.
This is made out of iron, and just the top of it is made out of steel.
Yeah, it's easier to start off, right? It's not shiny yet. But with a few strokes of the file, it's already shinier. Silver color. That's the natural color of iron. But you can see here, that was filed a little while ago. Well, it's starting to darken, right? It's not as shiny as this section. That's because that was filed a couple days before, and iron is not a stable element. It wants to darken like that. It wants to bond with oxygen. So that's a form of rust, really. But it's not going to destroy the tool. It's not going to destroy the spoon. It's just going to make it look dark, like all the ones on the table there. Those all were filed bright at one point, and just with age, they darkened. Yes?
What does that tool do?
That's a drill press. The period term for it would be a beam drill, but it does the same thing. You put whatever you want to cut a hole in underneath the bit at the end, and you turn the handle, and it cuts a hole. That is an early stage in making an axe, so it needs to be finished, but when it is, it'll be, yes.
That's another side of the angle.
What's is this a Minecraft reference? You just like anvils?
One of these fell on you. Like, I wonder if Steve can survive one of these from like.
Grandma can tell you the story of when an anvil fell on my toe when I was little, and my toe turned purple. Oh man, they were so clever back then. Is this wool? Some wool-covered board. So that seals it better than just wood would. Wood. Hello.
Hi, welcome to the
Oh,
shop. We're
hinge.
recreating here a shop that was active during the time of the War for Independence to make campwear for the troops. So the things that we're
Campwear.
making here were for soldiers, sailors of Virginia, and our officers, and that's between 1778 and 1780.
I bet this is a lot lighter than the iron next door.
It is iron, actually. It's just
Oh.
thin iron.
Yeah.
It's
Really?
tin-plated iron.
It's tin.
All
So,
right.
so it's a sheet of iron that's been dipped in tin. So it is iron, but just like aluminum foil and tin foil, I mean aluminum foil and aluminum bars, there's a difference in thickness, and though one is easy to bend and the other not. So it's the same thing here. It's a very thin sheet of iron, but it has been dipped in tin to keep it from rusting.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, and so it's easier to work. In fact, I don't forge because it's already forged for me.
Nice.
So what I do is I simply cut it and bend it, and when I use heat, it's for soldering.
It's because there's a fire.
And so soldering is essentially hot gluing with metal.
Wow.
And that's going to be used to attach handles and spouts to make all the seams tight so they don't leak. Tell you, this used to be a hobby and they've turned it into a job. That's pretty cool. when you think about it. Because the reason it was a hobby and now it's a job in this context is that normally this is no way of making a living. Because I'm not using machines. I'm still working like a medieval tinsmith. So it's not very profitable. But to show you how things were done then, it's valid.
Yeah.
All right. Grandpa's a military vet, so he's going to get us into the Liberty Lounge for free.
Brick.
I'm really not calling you to get your advice on something.
Nope. What's in here? Oh, is that a chalk table?
Would anybody like hot chocolate or coffee or tea?
Hot chocolate.
How many hot chocolate?
What type of tea is it?
Thanks for your service, Grandpa.
Jesus, thank you for serving.
Look.
Cool.
I heart Gus, our dog. So I'm going to the bathroom and realized that my shirt matches the curtains. Where am I? You can't find me. Liberty Lounge was very nice and relaxing. Thank you so much for doing
Impressive. I saw that.
gonna go be a pilot.
Whoa!
Yeah, there I was
They always look at silver and gold.
Silver and gold.
Right? Generally, when we make something in silver and gold, we are going to, if it's especially hollowware, we're going to make the item first, and then we're going to make the rim to fit the item, right? But all of these steps, and what we call the bouge, which is this channel that runs in here, all of that is delineated off where that rim is going to fall. So you'll use the rim to lay out the design on the flat sheet of silver that we've hammered out from the ingot. You're going to hammer in all that tracing work. If you, let's say, wanted the Spanish mill dollar turned into a teaspoon, that only takes about 2 hours for a skilled silversmith to do. This is what we call small work. Small amount of silver or gold, small amount of labor. If you say this is what you want, chances are I'm going to say, all right, we've got to keep 1/3 of this dollar to turn the other 2/3 into this spoon. Again, if you don't like our prices, you're not obligated to take your cash elsewhere, okay? But that was a good price because the big stuff starts at half of your cash and goes up from there, okay? Most people never saw this stuff back then, much less owned it, including ourselves as silversmiths. So that coffee pot is about a year's wages for a middle-class worker back then, tied up in one piece. It takes over 200 hours to make. You know exactly what you're doing. No. All right. Go back to working on it again until it work hardens again. You just keep going back and forth. Eventually, you're going to get this ugly flat spoon thing, and then you're going to trim off the excess. You're going to have a prettier flat spoon thing, and then we're going to sink this in between a spoon tin, which is a block of tin, and a spoon punch. We're going to hit this with about an 8-pound sledgehammer, and that drives the bowl of the spoon down. Usually it kicks the handle up, so you've got to straighten the handle out, and then you can file off the rough edges, polish it up, and it's in that trimming, filing, and polishing where that 1/3 comes off. All right. We're going to take that scrap, make new stuff, and be able to sell it and make money. In the meantime, we're going to weigh that finished spoon again in front of you. Because what I neglected to say here is that we always weigh your money when you come in with it. We do not count it. That doesn't tell you anything. It's weight and purity. So we weigh this again to show you that we didn't keep more than the 1/3 that we promised. And this is not a trick question. You go home with a spoon. How many times can you use a spoon?
As many times.
As many times as you want. Exactly. So what about this though? How many times can we spend this?
One.
Yeah, if you haven't learned that on this vacation, you will fast. So this tempts me to spend it, and I can only do it once. This encourages me to use it and save it, and I can do that as many times as I want. See where we're going here? We can also have our initials engraved on this stuff. Looks like our money. If it gets lost or stolen, this looks like everybody's. When it gets lost or stolen. And when people come over for dinner, they understand they're stirring their tea with my money. They understand I'm wearing my money in the latest London fashion. No one thinks that's rude. It's no more rude than you wearing an Apple Watch or carrying a Gucci handbag right now. The difference is, I can smash this with a sledgehammer and it's worth its weight in cash. Can't do that with the Apple Watch. People get a little upset. So, what we do see back then is every silversmith advertising. We pay the highest price for people's old silver and gold.
So look at how expensive this is. $99. Imagine how much that big thing that they're making.
Salt.
But look at the little
That's so cute.
mini.
Now we know how complicated it is to get that all even. Wow. Hello.
Into that room, feel free to take a seat.
Thank you.
Now, this is one of 19 taverns here in Williamsburg. And I know 19 seems like far too many, especially, for a mile from one end to the other. But taverns aren't just for drinking. They're not even just for eating. They're lodging They are social centers. This is your post office. This is your business office. Taverns are essential. That said, taverns only have about 3 to 5 private rooms each. Private room is only for the wealthiest of the wealthy. People that don't have a townhouse or family here in town to stay with, they will rent one of those private rooms. The rest of us get stuck with public lodging. Public lodging is going to be the entire second floor up here. Nowadays it's our break room. But in the 18th century, we've had 30 to 40 beds. And you're not renting the entire bed, my friends. You're renting a spot in the bed. If you travel on your own, you might make a new friend tonight. Also, everyone brought their own pillows and sheets, right? You did? You remembered this? Good, because we're going to charge you if we have to provide them for you. And I can't guarantee how long it's been since we've washed them. Also, you're sharing about 10 to 15 chamber pots up there with 40 to 80 people. A chamber pot, if you don't know that term, is your bathroom. Outhouses aren't really a thing until about 1805 to 1815. The first ones here in Williamsburg were built in 1813. It doesn't smell great. Thankfully, we're super into perfumes and colognes in the 18th century, so really you're just smelling far too much perfume rather than smelling far too few chamber pots. Now, of course, once you are down in this room, if that mystery stew of the day is a little too mysterious, you can order anything you want. If we can get the ingredients, we will make it for you. Bring us a recipe and we will make it for a fee. This is something we're doing everywhere in the 18th century, is nickel and diming or shilling and pensing you out of everything we can. So the law says we have to give you this, that's all we're doing. Anything more, we're gonna charge you for it. Put it that way. So welcome to the bar. The bar room is the smallest in the tavern because it's actually the least important. This is not an establishment meant for just coming in and having a couple of drinks. You'll notice a lack of seating in here. There's not much room for tables. None of this furniture would have been here because we want to be able to fit 50 people in this room, standing room only. This is where the bar comes from. You see, there's a hidden trapdoor that goes down into the cellars. So if your barkeep needs to restock, they just close everything up, go downstairs, grab what they need, and come right back upstairs, and we, the great unwashed masses, are barred from helping ourselves. And that is where the term the bar comes from. Punch is the most important and popular drink that we have in the 18th century because we're not considering small beer a drink. That's just basically water with flavor. Punch is going to be water, sugar, spices, citrus, and some kind of alcohol, usually rum, often wine. Any variation thereof. You can do any kind of citrus you want in there. Now, the other thing that makes punch really popular, aside from the fact that it's really versatile, is that it's only 6.5 shillings for an entire bowl. Because honestly, we're giving you the cheapest alcohol that we have when we make the punch up, and you're not getting that much of it. It costs less to order a bowl of punch than it does to stable your horse or sleep in one of our beds. However, no furniture in this room means that you have to keep an eye on your punch bowl once you purchased it, lest someone like me wanders over and just kind of quietly helps themselves to a cup while you're not looking. And we actually see people brought to court for stealing other people's cups of punch from their bowls. And this is the biggest and fanciest event room in Williamsburg. You see this really obnoxious blue that the room is slathered in? It's Prussian blue. It's the most expensive paint color we can get in this era. And they are super popular. Everyone loves a subscription ball. Of course, any person that is well educated will be able to dance. So you're going to come here, you're going to show off how well and gracefully you dance. You're going to rub shoulders with the who's who. You're going to make your business contracts. And who knows, you might be that special someone. Thomas Jefferson loved his subscription balls here. And imagine this, he is 17 years old. And he is right here in front of his fireplace. And he's pacing back and forth, rather stressed out. He is adjusting his clothes, fixing his wig, and he's muttering a little bit to himself. Because tonight, he's going to ask a young lady to marry him. Becky, as she was known, was 16 at the time. Both she and Thomas are wealthy, young, and attractive, so it's obviously a perfect match, except for the fact that they've never shared a single conversation. They've been introduced, but that was a few months ago. But she has not escaped his mind, so he knows she's going to be here tonight, he's going to ask. And then she walks, wearing pale yellow satin. And he waxes poetic about how pretty this girl is in his letters. He talks about her golden hair like the sun, her pale long throat like a swan. He takes a deep breath, and with the confidence that really only comes with being a 17-year-old young man, he paces across the room to her. They make eye contact, he smiles, she smiles, and he forgets what he was going to say. Nerves overtake him, and poor Thomas, he starts stuttering. He's stumbling over his words. He's making a fool of himself. And Becky, she just gives him a once-over and silently walks out. And he says that he was heartbroken. In his letters, he says he'll never love again. He will never be able to dance again. And most tragic of all, he would never be able to show his face in reality ever again in his life. It took him about 2.5 weeks to get over it. Indeed. And you know, he does find love again. He does marry. He comes back here on a very regular basis. Most importantly, right after the Boston Massacre. Everyone here knows about the Boston Massacre. We won't get into that. But let's just say we heard about it too. And those 89 men marched from the Capitol building right here to the Apollo room. Imagine that, 90 bodies in this room. It is June, so it's about 95 to 100 degrees outside, about 80% humidity because welcome to Virginia, the swamp. The windows are closed because these are very, very private treasonous conversations that are about to happen in here. There's no air conditioning, and you've got maybe 5 chamber pots between all of you. They're drinking too. And while they're in here, and they're sweating, and they're whining, and they're complaining, and they're drinking, they come up with some very interesting ideas that we've all heard about, like the committees of correspondence, and the Continental Congress, which nowadays we just call Congress. But more importantly, we are kneecapping a large part of the British economy. They rely upon the colonies to send them those resources to purchase those finished goods. And this is really one of the main things that amplifies what was just a bunch of grumbling into a proper rebellion. Conceived of right here in this room where you folks are sitting and enjoying this air conditioning. So I'm using that to take tobacco and literally
No sniffing.
so gross. Welcome, friends. So I'm in the more known as the billiards room, but there's no billiards table because our billiards table is an actual 18th century antique that honestly too many of us have bumped into over the years, so it's being refurbished, which is an excellent example of reusing a room for a different purpose. That's something a tavern keeper in the 18th century is going to do, and these tables are a huge part of that. A normal table of this size takes 2 people to move around, to put back in storage, or to pull out. But these are some of the earliest folding tables that we see in the colonies, and they're a game changer. Now one person can carry a table under each arm. That is quadruple the speed that I can change this room out to rent to someone else. That means I'm going to make at least twice as much money than in a regular day. Massive, massive improvement for the life of your average tavern keeper. And I could nerd out about these tables for another hour, but I won't. What I do want to talk about is just this room in general. Look at how big these windows are. There's so much light in here. Even on a cloudy day, we don't need to light candles to see what we're doing. It's so peaceful. It's quiet back here. It's very private. We're so far back from Gloucester Street that really, honestly, this room is perfect for whatever event you could need it for, including maybe planning some treason. Great spots for this. Except building. These are outbuildings. In the 18th century, we don't want our kitchens, our sculleries, our laundries, our dairies, our larders to be attached to the main building, not because of fire risk, but because of smell. If you cook a pork roast and you haven't done laundry for a month afterwards, every piece of fabric in your house is going to smell like that pork roast. So you want that away from the house. None of these food smells permeating into your materials. And all of these buildings will be worked by the enslaved. It's locked to anything wrong.
Did you get drunk in the tavern, Millie? Good job.
Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
We're doing good. I need a new wig though.
You're in the right place.
Oh, did the women wear the wigs as well as the men?
No, not typically. It is a masculine fashion during the period, and that's simply because Elastic textiles have not been invented yet, so the very best way to get a guaranteed fit is to shave the head, understandably. 90% of the male population and almost all women said absolutely not. And they kept their own hair.
Is it something the wealthy did?
Not at all. So just like today, fashion is accessible to everyone, regardless of gender or status, right? We can find cheap knockoffs, we can spend as much money as we want on any fashionable item. Wigs are no exception. This is one of 8 wig making shops present in Williamsburg on the eve of Revolution. Take 12 different measurements of that clean shaven head, build this base. That's actually what I'm working on right now. And that is going to fit your head perfectly because of the measurements that we've taken. This is a custom made garment.
Wow.
Working at our trussing frame over here on the table, you can see it's got 2 posts with 3 silk threads strung between those 2 posts. We take a pinch of hair at a time, whether it's horse, human, or goat, and do a braiding motion, and the tension to the left locks that hair into place. We then take those rows of hair off and sew them on, like you can see on that mounting block right there. That labor could have been done by 3 to 5 people working over the course of 3 sun-up to sundown days during the period. This
3
time-
days?
Yeah, there's no labor
Sun up to
laws.
sundown.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely no labor laws. Exploitative labor has existed for centuries. So today it takes us about 3 to 6 months, which is great because we talk a lot, but ultimately we work on these items independently.
So we've seen a lot of things in Williamsburg so far. What's your favorite? The lounge was your favorite?
Yeah. And then there was another place that I really liked, but I forgot. That was another one of my favorites.
Tavern? Millie, what was your favorite?
I don't know! So sorry.
I really like the White House, the first one we went to.
I like that.
What'd you find?
Press the penny.
Penny press! Woohoo!
Strawberry twists. Boston
They're
baked
all
beans.
colonial candies, huh? You think they
Milk
that
chocolate
back then?
rainbow non.
You could be a real colonial kid and eat
Peppermint
candy.
puffs,
So different from today.
Giant gumdrops.
$30 or $20. How much is it?
10.
10. Okay, we're getting that and some more chocolate. Woo! That smells fresh. What'd you call it, Weston?
Obstacle.
We're coming up on an obstacle. That is the cabinetry maker behind us. I wish we had time to stop there. We'll stop it everywhere. There's so many things. Why are my lips so pink? So we're gonna go up here to the masonry. Do you know what a mason is?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
How?
Minecraft. Masons are in Minecraft, so I know what they are.
They work with wood?
No. Clay, bricks, and stone.
Educational stuff. Alright, let's go to the brickyard.
That's why Minecraft is educational.
It's a stack of bricks. That's 64.
I mean, if it's in there.
If you just fill in on a shallow brick, it'll probably have a little bit of sand here, and that will
Mom, do you
bond
see all the clay?
and that will eventually do what
Yeah, under there.
Yeah, you got a question?
Why do those have animal paws?
Well, the simplest answer would be that animals were walking on our bricks, and I'm afraid that is what happened. You might recognize. Yeah, you'd recognize one of them as a raccoon, the sneakiest animal we've got in all of Virginia. When the bricks are laying out here in the sun, we can protect them while we're here, but at 5 o'clock we go home, and it becomes Wild Kingdom up here, and anybody can wander through. So the raccoon didn't ruin the brick. You can see he just kind of, I don't know, stuck his hands in there, pulled his hands out. The
That's so
animal that
intentional.
ruins the most brick tend to be deer. They're not graceful.
Is
they
that
don't
that one with
understand.
the big hole?
It is, yes. That's a deer hoof print.
Oh, wow.
So they don't understand what they're walking through. They just keep going.
The
'cause they're
raccoon's
deer.
kind of cool, actually.
It is, yeah. It's almost as though he did that on purpose, which quite honestly, I wouldn't put past a raccoon, quite honestly. They're
Trying to leave his mark.
They're clever little fellas.
Leave his
The other
mark in
one
it
there
more
is,
permanently.
is a fox print. We also have gray fox around here. Every now and again, you'll smell one in the brickyard. You'll always smell fox before you see them. Odds are you won't even see them. You'll just smell them. They're stinky. I know they look cute, folks, but ugh, they're gross. Yeah, they have a really, really bad musk. It is unpleasant. Raccoons, they don't smell so bad, but boy, they will find any morsel of food they can. And anything counts as food. We had one once eat an entire bottle of ibuprofen that we had in the tool shed. That poor thing probably didn't feel a thing until his liver gave out. I hope he's doing well. I don't know if he ever recovered. We never found him.
We hitchhike. Can we walk faster than the horses? It's a little more exhausting.
Right on in. Hopefully they will all follow you in.
Wow. Is this the front door?
This is the front door. Come right on in. You're in the right place.
Pretty cool. Wow, we even have people greeting us.
The palace that you're entering into is a reconstruction of what we think the building looked like when it was here in the 1700s. The building itself is furnished right now for the time period between 1771 and 1775. Our last royal governor of Virginia, that last royal governor, Lord Dunmore, would have used the spaces. There's an inventory taken after his departure. As the revolution breaks out, that there were 540 weapons in the arms display: muskets, swords, and pistols. So that's what you see decorating our reconstructed palace, rebuilt in the 1930s.
Were they used for militia or just decoration?
The main military warehouse here in town is the Magazine, that brick octagon in the middle of town. So this was kind of a supplemental store of weapons. Periodically they were actually taken down and used, but mostly they're just on display as a visual reminder of the military strength of the British Empire.
Are these original or?
In some cases, the muskets with the darker wood stocks are antiques from the 1700s. Railroad track, the Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad.
Can you guess what this room is?
The study? The sitting room.
Sure.
The greeting, the guest room, the conversation room.
Sure.
You have to know how to have a conversation. Do you know what this one is? This is the pantry, you said. So where they kept the records of things that they bought and purchased and stored stuff.
There are 4 bird cages in this room.
Bird cages. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's a fireplace in almost every room because they didn't have heat. Huh. They must have made books. This is beautiful. Oh my goodness. Ooh, this is the ballroom.
Try to find 2 bird cages and a dead bird.
Okay. 2 bird cages.
Can you find the dead bird?
Oh, there it is. The fake food room.
Private dining. There's a state up room, the last room, but this is mainly for the family. The main meal of the day is dinner between 2 and 4. It would consist of the first course, which is a meat and vegetable course, followed by a second course, another meat and vegetable course, followed by a dessert course. And the ladies will withdraw into the parlor for the tea and the conversation. Means the gentlemen remain drinking some very strong alcoholic punch, or perhaps port Madeira, smoking their pipes, and talking about topics ladies have no knowledge of, such as politics.
Of course.
And then they meet together, usually for gaming. Gambling is a very prevalent pastime here in Virginia.
All
But
right.
when they concluded, this becomes the last governor's office. The desk literally was here in 75, belonged to Lord Dunmore. The chair
Really?
in front came from Red Hill, Patrick Henry's last estate.
Oh.
And it's supposed to be the very chair Patrick Henry died in.
Really? But where did he die? Not here.
No, he died at his estate, Red Hill, which is in southwestern Virginia.
Oh, okay. And they had cell phones back then? No.
That's telling me I've got another station to do right now.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Wow.
Bitten by mosquitoes is bad.
Yeah, something connected.
This looks like a fun room, Lily.
In wardrobes such as this, and they actually did have some closets, especially in larger homes like this. But they're mostly for storing objects, not clothing.
It does not say do not open on this. They are going
That doesn't mean you open it.
I've opened it.
Oh, look at the nudes.
Is this a room you like, Millie?
Yeah. And it's that room.
Come. What's in this room?
I like this one the best.
Ooh, I like this room too.
It's red, gold, brown, green.
You match the room.
This is called the upper middle room. So it was used as like a family room. When our last royal governor was here, he had 7 children. His wife and 6 of the children came on the ship over here. And then their 7th child, Virginia, was actually born in the palace.
The original governor. that
The
was
first
here,
governor? Oh.
Dunmore was our last royal governor.
Dunmore.
So that pretty much means he was the last governor under the British government. We had 2 more governors who lived in this building under the American government, and those were Patrick Henry and Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson was only here for about 8 months because then they moved the capital from Williamsburg to Richmond, so he moved along with it. And then after he left, this whole building was turned into a hospital for the Continental Army.
And then left child.
There's just guns everywhere.
They didn't have gun safes back then.
Prove that you're the royal, powerful nation in the whole world.
It's a crazy stairwell. The iron rod. Is that what that feels like? Oh my. Don't mess with the U.S. The ballroom with its original color.
We have concerts on it sometimes, and we have a recording so you can get a sense of what it would have been like to dance here in the 18th century. I like your style of dancing. Really cool. Alright, who's gonna dance with me? Let's do I love it. This might be the first time anyone's cha-cha to it, but I love it. Actually, they are monarchs instead. So Queen Elizabeth and Queen Charlotte are here. These are originals from 1760 that are now Ramsey. And then the ones in the back are been little things before, but the first proper excavations of Pompeii are being done in the middle of the 18th century. And of course, they're finding lots of cool art and designs and everything. So Tesare on the floor showing designs just like this. They're being sketched out and in some cases lifted and sent out around Europe and other places throughout the world. And the designs are being copied and incorporated into other things. So we have a reproduction of an 18th century carpet, which is in its own way a reproduction of a 1st century floor.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That is fascinating. Okay, and tell me who this is again.
Okay,
This
that's
is
King George III, and next to
Okay.
him is his wife, Queen Charlotte.
Queen Charlotte.
And these are original paintings done in 1760. They're their coronation portraits.
Wow.
Done by the Allen Ramsey School. A lot going on in the building.
How long was it the capital? How long was it the capital?
Williamsburg is the capital from 1699 until 1779, so 80 years.
Okay.
This is an ideal location to move to because if you look around in the end of the 17th century, Jamestown was our first capital. it was a bit swampy, kind of malarial. There was some arsenic in the drinking water, and the center of population had been expanding outward pretty much since day one. So it wasn't central anymore. Williamsburg, being a little higher on the peninsula, was more central, less swampy, and we have 2 deep water ports on either side of town, which made us great when it came to shipping and transport, import, export, all those things that a colony wants to have. And then when we went to war with the most powerful navy on earth, it became a horrible thing for your capital city to have. And so we moved not only to a more central location based on where our population had spread, but to a more defensible location in Richmond, just past the fall of the
So that was why it moved? Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
What happened when I was here? Oh, you were a baby. Almost 40 years ago. I remember him telling us that, you know, the original colony was at Jamestown, but it got burned, or the Indians.
Yeah,
and so they moved
Jamestown
it.
has their capital burned down 4 times. I
So
always
they
joke
moved-
we have constant improvement. We burned 4 capitals at Jamestown, 2 burned in Williamsburg, we only burned 1 in Richmond. So it's better every time. But yeah, it was that
So they
final
moved it
fire.
over the hill and created Williamsburg instead of Jamestown.
Yeah, precisely. That final fire in
In
1699, they said, we might need to try again somewhere else.
Yeah.
The fires are going to be caused by a variety of things. Here in Williamsburg, the first fire we believe was arson. No one has ever found and convicted, but based on the circumstances, what's being reported, and some of the fingers being pointed at the time, it really does seem like it's arson. The second fire, though, it's a lightning strike. Other fires, you can tell based on what they're concerned about when we move, we're using fire to heat our homes. Obviously, if you're growing up with having fire in your home every day, you get used to being responsible about it, but things can still go wrong. And yeah, so when they moved the Capitol from Jamestown to Williamsburg, if you look at the Capitol building here, we built it as they did. They didn't have any fireplaces in it because they didn't want that risk. They didn't allow candles or smoking or any of those things. They did eventually ease up a little bit. They have a warming machine installed. They do allow candles a little later. But you can tell they're concerned about that because of what's happened in Jamestown. So
Yeah. It's gonna need. When you're ready, again, you can head right on out that back door, and you'll find the bathrooms on the right side. The gate is all the way through the garden on the back.
Exiting the back door of the Governor's Palace is more fancy. That's the lion and the unicorn fighting. The unicorn was the only animal that could defeat the lion, but you'll see here that they're not fighting because they at peace when they first built this. Millie sells seashells by the Governor's Palace.
Would you like to buy a shell?
You have seashells for sale?
That's a coat of arms for the King of England. King George is going to pick this as his coat of arms and his motto. Duet et Mandra is what that bottom bit says, and it basically translates to God on my right.
Bah! You know all about sheep. You were a shepherd in the play. Where's Nolan? He was a sheep. Okay, here's the sheep.
It's hideous there. Look at my feet. They put up one of its legs.
Okay, I'm not in the port this time, but I'm in the lobby area, and I'm going to talk about day 4. It's just a small drop, but okay. Day 4. Our dad got us a little surprise at Walmart. I know, it sounds kind of weird.
Hi, this is day 4, and when we woke up this morning, I had Berry Colossal Crunch for breakfast, and then we had donuts. Donuts, yay!
But at Walmart, we got donuts and Berry Colossal Crunch. So in the morning, we had Berry Colossal Crunch and Walmart donuts.
First, we got up and had breakfast and got donuts, and
then, after we had that really good meal, we went outside into the community center, not to go swimming like last time, Even though I was very tempted to, there was people swimming at 10 o'clock. But we went to play the arcade games.
And then we went over to the community center that's by our house, and we did the arcade there for a while, and it was really fun.
And it was amazing because they were all free. I love the pinball machines because there were like 3 of them. But one of them was broken because one of the pin flappers wouldn't actually go up. And then our dad and Wesson loved this game called Terminator Salvation, where you would shoot all these robots.
And me and Daddy played Terminator Salvation together, and it was really fun, and we beat the entire game.
And I tried playing, but it wasn't as fun as I thought, but it was still fun. But Wesson and my dad really liked it. And then I was playing for 20 minutes this motorcycle game.
And Nolan played a motorcycle game, and then they learned how to save it after he turned it off. Sad.
And like every time you had to pay like $1 to race, but since it was free, you just win like every time. But every time that you play and you don't like exit the game, you get to upgrade your car. But since we didn't have to pay money to do every race, you could just keep on doing it over and over again and upgrading your car. I maxed out the car, but then I had to get off. And then my dad was like, "Oh, you can put a pin in to save it." But I had already gotten off, so I couldn't save it. So that was sad.
We went to the arcade and did some things, and then after that we went to what's it called?
Back, and then we went to Williamsburg, the old town thing.
We went to Williamsburg, and then we went to Williamsburg town, the like historic colonial Williamsburg. I don't know. It was like really old, and
we went and explored all of these like old towns and how people worked. There were like the first thing we saw was something
like stuff, and we went and we saw the big mansion, and we saw the Witt's house, and we also saw other shops, and it was super cool because there's lots of old people, or like not old people dressed up as like people in the past, and then.
But I like the mason. He like created lots of bricks and stuff, like a lot of bricks, a lot of bricks. But yeah, wait, I'm gonna go downstairs and get my snack. So we explored all of that stuff, and then there was this tavern thing where they talked about the taverns and like how like lower class and upper class like taverns are right here. Don't tell my mom and dad. Right here, behind this curtain, cotton candy. Yummy, yum, yum. Okay.
There's a whole bunch of cool things there that we could do. There's like, we could go to the blacksmith, and it was super cool to see how he made the stuff. And we went to the guy who made like tin pots and stuff, and Nolan bought one of those tin cups. It was super cool. It's not too fancy, but it's pretty cool.
Back upstairs. But basically, we explored that town. There's lots of old stuff and old people and old stuff. I got a tin cup, which was cool, from the tin maker. The blacksmith was really cool. And the tin maker, the blacksmith, and the other guy, the silversmith, was cool. So we learned about that. That was amazing.
After that, we came home and went to an all-you-can-eat diner. I got a bunch of cotton candy and stuff, and cotton candy.
And then, we came back. We went to the all-you-can-eat buffet. That was probably the best restaurant I've ever been. It's way, to me, it's better than the Lures. So on my restaurant rating, the all-you-can-eat was amazing. But that's where we got this cotton candy.
And I got pizza and pizza and mac and cheese, and it was really fun.
It's good. And then we came back and we played some more video games. I went swimming, as you can see, because my hair is wet.
And then we came back here and did the arcade some more, and we also did mini golf, for the first few holes together, and went swimming for the rest of the day until 10:18, I think. And now we're going to go to bed. Bye. I'll see you tomorrow evening.
And yeah, we did that. So now I'm gonna be eating this. I'm gonna stay here for the next couple minutes while I eat this. I think that I'm gonna have the cotton candy.